Well, hello everyone, and happy Saturday to everyone out there. Thank you for stopping by and joining me on this early afternoon for most of us out there. Apologies for delaying the show to later today and kind of still delaying it to much later than originally intended. Last night I was on a very fun stream with our friends Mr. Extra Zero, Mr. Cream NATO, and the lovely Miss Vex Electronica as we kind of made fun of Smash JT getting roasted by basically Colin Moriarty. He was basically eviscerated by him. But besides that, everything else relatively was good today. I had to go help my mom out with some groceries. As everyone knows, my mom is kind of getting old and she's still suffering from a sickness. So I had to stop what I was doing and, do what the son's responsibilities are, and that is help out your parents. Uh, so yeah, that's why we're kind of running a little late. I'm a little bit tired today, but besides that, looking forward to doing all this stuff as well with everyone here. Just wanted to say I'll start this off pretty slow today. This week I really haven't been able to play too many video games. Just because I've been tired. That's the best way to say it. I'm still doing the Yakuza 5 grind. I'm on the very last run of it. It's almost ending. I'm at the very end. So after I'm done with the stream, I'm hoping to hop off there and beat Yakuza 5. Probably after a nap, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm really tired. Because that's the one thing when you get like those extra naps in the morning, where it's like you wake up and then you go back to sleep, and you wake up an hour later and you go back to sleep. So it kind of messes me up. I picked up this new energy drink I found at the store today. It's called Bing, Petey's Bing. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I never seen it before, but it's a more natural, made with coffee. No, sorry, caffeine, vitamin B's, and ginseng and stuff like that. Trying to do like a little bit more natural today. No real sugars or carbs, stuff like that. As just need a little pick me up, I guess you could say. Try to make it through. So let me give you a taste of it and tell you how it tastes right now. Tastes like ass. So I'm gonna try to just chuck that and get that out of the way. Ando says, can't imagine grinding away at Yakuza 5 while tired. And we got Mr. Nerd Takes joining us here. He says, what up, dude? How you doing, Papa Takes? I can't wait to have you on next week for some fun Silent Hill talk. No, Splinter Cell. Yeah, excuse me. Oh, I'm a little off my game, like I said. But yeah, just to kind of switch it over real quick here, I only have one video game pickup this week, and that is just Ninja Gaiden 4 for the Xbox. Kind of a slow week for my pickups. As you can see, still got kind of stuff disheveled from last week as well. But besides that, that's the only real thing I got going for my game pickup. So we'll kind of get that out of the way now. And we'll start getting into it. We'll start talking about, some of the fun game trailers and everything to kind of show off. All right, so the first one here we're going to share is just a reminder of what's kind of coming out this week. So the first one we got here is Once Upon a Time in Katamari. You don't want to see me there. There we go. And let's give this one a playthrough. Let me check the volume here so it's not blowing out everyone's ears. So yeah, that one is coming out, I believe, for Xbox, PlayStation, and of course PC. I don't know about Switch 2 release yet, or Switch 1 release for that matter, but it will be available, I think, either this week or it's already out now, or it will be available next week. And then we're going to switch over now to another trailer. This one I think will be a big favorite. This was one of a lot of people's favorite boomer shooters, and it's finally getting a sequel. So yeah, that was Bolt Gun 2, coming of course to everything as well. Mr. Creamnato says world premiere. Hey there, buddy, how you doing? Hope you're having a good one. Hope you got some good sleep after our long stream last night. But yeah, I've never played the Bolt Gun game yet. I know our friend Mr. Paul Hadouken really loves it, as well as many of our other friends. So if you're looking forward to it, I guess it will be coming 2026 next year, hopefully early. But yeah, let me know down if you guys played the original one and what your thoughts about it are too. I'd be very interested to hear what kind of Bolt Gun Warhammer fans we got. All right, now we go into a different one. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right, right here. We got the new trailer for the Marvel's Cosmic Invasion with a release date.
Fully charged.
Get ready to feel the heat. Phoenix Flame!
Dual repulsor blast.
Turn him up, Genie.
Power flows through me!
Iron cannon. Fire them up, Red. Power cosmic in action.
We are Venom. Vibranium blade.
Case closed.
Yeah, so as NerdTake says, he's very looking forward to this game, and he doesn't have to wait much longer. December 1st of this year, coming to all the major platforms out there as well, too. So everyone, I know that the company right here, Dotemu, has made a lot of really good beat-em-up games in the past, and a lot of people are very much looking forward to this game. I can't wait to kind of check it out myself. I hope it's got crossplay in it, too. I haven't looked too much into this, but it would be relatively fun to just get like a nice little game night going and just like have a nice little beat 'em up night. That would definitely be very, very fun for sure. Okay, now we got another trailer we're going to go on here today. This one is coming out relatively soon, but it's not coming out that soon. Right here, our friend Mr. Angry Canadian is very much looking forward to this one, but we got our first... well, not our first. One of our big final looks for the new upcoming Hyrule Warriors game.
A power that great tests the very depths of its bearer's soul. Just like the secret stones. It seems you can be used for good or evil.
At last, My triumph is nigh. Let Hyrule suffer beneath your boundless might, and make known the Demon King Sarge's supremacy!
In times to come, my husband will be faced with countless difficult decisions.
The fight is yours. Would you have it?
I must improve to protect those I care about most. We all stand beside you, however possible.
It's not impossible.
Raring to go.
We'll find strength in our allies and save these lands.
To serve Roran, the King of Light.
So yeah, November 6th. So in a couple weeks, we're going to see this game get launched exclusively for the Switch 2 and the Switch consoles, as you see. Has anyone been a big fan of these type of games? I know they're more Dynasty Warriors-esque. I've never played any of these games, to be honest with you. I have them, but I just haven't played them. They're basically in my collection for like one day. But I know our friend, Mr. Angry Canadian, he's put like 1,000 hours into just like the couple of these ones, and he's super excited for that one. But let me know out there if any of you guys are excited for them. Have you played them? Do you like the other Dynasty Warrior games proper, or the Dynasty Warrior spin-off ones? I know there's a Dragon Quest one. I know there's Fire Emblem ones and such, and even like One Piece. I know there's a One Piece one too, but that's coming out in a couple weeks. It's so wild to believe next Friday is already Halloween, and then this upcoming Saturday will be November 1st. So holiday time is here, folks. Holiday time is here. So we're going to go right now to one other trailer too. This one looked pretty good. I wanted to share it off. It's a game that I haven't heard of anyone talk about before, but it's called Beneath. So here's the trailer for that.
We were fearless, strong, and bold. We came here seeking something more. Yet one by one, my men fell to insanity. I couldn't comprehend it. It was a mystery. Until I saw the power we'd uncovered. Far and beyond what any sane person could handle.
Mayday! This is Science Vessel Pioneer. We've been attacked by an unknown entity.
We were fools to come here, all of us. Yet here we are.
Can anyone hear me? Please respond.
Come and play with me. 'Cause I know it's right or die. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, so that is the trailer for Beneath. It kind of gave me a lot of different kind of vibes, a little bit of fear, a little bit of like Condemned Criminal Origins, kind of a fun-looking Cthulhu-esque kind of game. I don't know how good it's gonna be. Never heard of this studio, but Wired Productions isn't a bad publisher. So I thought, well, this is a nice little game to kind of shout out there, to keep an eye on, especially with it coming out next week. And it looks a little spooky game in time for Halloween. So I wanted to give this one a little bit of air, relatively, just to check it out, because some of you might not have seen it. So that's the one that we're going to go with. All right, and next up, we got another official launch trailer for this game. Has just came out. I actually think excuse me, it came out yesterday, or it comes out for 5-day early access, but it just came out. It's coming out after that next week as well for the official full release. So here's the trailer for The Outer Worlds 2.
Welcome to the Arcadia colony. A place filled with betrayal and vengeance. Science and mind control.
Such a relatable interest.
Tyranny. Guilty. And math. At the center of it all is you. You who make the choices about who will live, who will die, and who will control the Outer Worlds. But don't worry, you can still just blow shit up if you want.
Yeah, that is the trailer for The Outer Worlds 2. Coming in here too, Mr. Nerd Take says, I still have to play Outer Worlds 1. The episodes and secret levels for Outer Worlds was good. You know, I heard a lot of good things about The Outer Worlds 1. It was nominated for Game of the Year back when the original one launched. It also won a couple smaller awards. I know our friend Paul Hadouken said that he really enjoyed it. I heard from a lot of people they thought the first Outer Worlds 1 was just okay. It could have been better. There was a lot of people who are kind of concerned about it because they said it looks like Avowed. Avowed was mediocre to a lot of people out there. But generally from the first reviews that we have there, Mr. Nerd Takes and everyone out there, so far this one's been receiving pretty good marks. I say like it's getting like a solid B grade from a lot of people out there, from the reviewers. A lot of people saying if you loved Fallout New Vegas, then this might be like the closest thing you'll get to a sequel, or you will probably really like this game a lot there too. So for everyone out there that's wondering if you're a Fallout New Vegas fan, this is everything that I've heard about this one. It is about 79 gigs on Game Pass, if you have Game Pass Ultimate still, to pre-download to check it out. And it is on PC, of course. It's on Xbox, of course, and PlayStation 5, of course, as well too. I got this one downloaded. I don't know if I'll get to this one right away. I haven't decided if I'm going to pick this game up day one for launch or stuff to add to my collection. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But that is almost the end of all the trailers. Because this last one that we're going to show is probably like one of the biggest news for this week in terms of gaming trailers that we're going to have. If I can find it here. Yep, here it is. We finally got the last shoe to drop over here. Oh. Might help if I had some sound.
According to the data in their networks, the ring has some kind of deep religious significance. They call it Halo. They believe that Halo is some kind of weapon.
What sort of weapon is it?
One with unimaginable power.
Chief, you gotta find the cartographer. We'll keep him busy as long as we can.
Fire Team Charlie, we're on our way.
Touchdown! Hit it, Marine! Somebody order a warthog.
The Covenant are putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here.
Rock and roll, rock and roll!
Give them hell, Chief.
Yes, as we can see right here, we are finally seeing the first original Halo campaign get remade for modern audiences. I know some people like that term. And it's coming to PlayStation. It's been leaked and rumored for a very, very long time. A lot of people saying this is the final nail in the coffin for Xbox. And, there's some more details about this first. I'll get into that before I kind of get into my thoughts about the overall thing. But we got here a full remake of the original campaign of Halo with more modern controls and modern game features like carjacking and stuff like that too. We also are going to be getting a few extra prequel levels as well with Sergeant Johnson, fan favorite Sergeant Johnson, and it's going to be kind of a massive difference. There's going to be Sprint. Sprint will be brought to Halo 1 to the first time in its entire time. And it's, as NerdTake says here, it's weird seeing PlayStation after that. Exactly. It is very weird to see PlayStation after that. I have what we have now from people like Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, and also the head of Halo Studios, which is formerly of 343. They have all come out and said all Halos will be on PlayStation going forward as well too. I have a lot of thoughts about everything to kind of like talk about this with Microsoft, because there's been a lot of news this week. Microsoft raised the price of their dev kits from $1,500 to $2,000 as well, as Microsoft has been kind of bringing out all this other info that we've been hearing about this week, as well as there's been reports that Microsoft's chief financial officer, Miss Amy Hood, she has now set a mandate upon the Microsoft gaming division, aka Xbox, to try to make a 30% profit margin as well, which from other reports is that Microsoft is now stripping away some of their CFO's pay, especially geared towards Satya Nadella, because Microsoft has finally hit the 15% goal, I guess they originally, 14% goal, I should say, that they originally imposed on CFO by 1%. So they hit the 15% margin. So some people got some pay raises and everything else from the video game division as well on top of that. But it's been a very rocky and weird kind of thing that's going on here too. Mr. Nerte says, I think Microsoft is getting ready to get out of the console business, and at this point, I don't blame them. To be honest with you, we got an interview that I'm going to play after this one, which we will hear from Microsoft themselves about it, because they also have been getting more into this like whole ecosystem. You know, you play anywhere and everything else like that. They've been really trying to like hammer down this whole like, we just want you to game beyond a box. We just want you to game on our products. So I know a lot of people have been making a comparison for Sega. Like, oh, Sega, they're going Sega. And to be honest, they're not wrong. I'm not going to say that they're not wrong. But Sega was a financial disaster. Like, they got out of the console game completely because they couldn't, keep up with it. Like, there's like thousands upon thousands of documentaries that we're going to watch one day that have detailed the downfall of Sega from being a first party to a third party. And Microsoft, for the most part, their gaming division is doing quite well. But after they bought Bethesda, after they bought ABK, especially after they bought ABK, you could tell like right away that like they just had to change up their business strategy. And like you see with Sony going to put more games on PC, and they've brought like one and a couple games over to Switch and Xbox itself. The game industry is kind of evolving to just be more less focused on hardware and more focused on software. And especially when you see things that are starting to go up more, with like PC gaming growing more, with handheld gaming growing more, with cloud gaming being like a big thing, it's starting to become like the reality here is that native hardware seems to be a thing that might only be around for like 10 more years for some of these consoles and also Ando says over here, think the ROG Ally thing is a test for the next one, which will be a hybrid PC console, though maybe wishful thinking. So we got actually, I guess that's a good segue over here. We actually have an 8-minute long interview with Sarah Bond about this too. So Sarah Bond sat down to talk about the next Xbox, the ROG Ally, so on and so forth. So I guess that's a good transition. Let's get this one going. This is about an 8-minute interview. I'll be pausing and talking about it. It's broken up into a few segments here. And yeah, we'll get down to it. I feel like it's the old saying, let the horse, no, let them speak for themselves here.
I'm Timothy Beckworth. I'm the tech editor at Mashable. I'm here with Sarah Bond, the president of Xbox. That has to be the coolest job title I can imagine. I know you have kids. They must think that's the coolest thing ever, right?
It is the coolest job title. It is also the coolest job. Yeah, but my kids do think it's pretty awesome, but they're always asking for stuff, of course.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine they want to play this amazing device, which we'll talk about in a second, early. They want all the games early.
Everything early. And they are actually really good at giving me ideas and testing things out. So
that's got to be an advantage.
Yeah.
So we're obviously here to talk about an exciting new device. Tell us what this is. I know people have been waiting years for this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Xbox Ally. It is the first time ever that we have created an Xbox handheld. The teams worked with Asus and with Windows to create this device. So now you can finally actually take Xbox with you anywhere you want to go in your hands.
Yeah, I got to play with.
So another thing too is from all the reviews and all the people that have had hands-on with the Ally, especially the $1,000 model. I know, a lot of money. I understand, but everyone has been basically saying that this thing is really good, really nice. They haven't had any issues with it at all, and from posts I've been finding on Reddit and from other people, they say it's very moddable. One second here. I actually have an article. Let's see if I can find it real quick here. Perfect. So I'll link this one in the description, and I will replace the screen real quick here. But you can use any desktop graphics card with this ROG Ally over here too. So you can kind of actually do like a whole bunch of other crazy stuff and really get some support out of it with your docks and everything too. So I'm going to go ahead and link this one real quick so people can take a look at it who are smarter than me. They can maybe get some use out of it if they're considering getting a ROG Ally, or if they want like some interesting food for thought, or maybe if you know somebody that has a ROG Ally that's also a big gearhead, you know, or stuff like that, to kind of check it out as well with everyone else. We got a couple cool comments here. Let's go on here. Mr. Nerdtick says, I like the concept of Ally. I just have some trouble with the price point for me personally. I'm not sure it's very cool device. I'm sure it's a very cool device. Don't get me wrong. Listen, my buddy, my pal, everyone out there, I've been very consumer friendly with everything that I say to people. There's no reason to go into debt for gaming. Everyone here is mostly a hobbyist. This is just all we do for fun and everything else like that. I know that the ROGs generally go on sale relatively quickly. So there is a point in time where I would like to pick one up myself. I've been contemplating selling my Steam Deck, just to put money down towards this, because I really like it. Look, I'm not hiding this from anyone. I'm going to be honest with everyone. I am a Microsoft guy in terms of I like Xbox. I love to buy most of my games on Xbox. I like my achievements. I like my crossplay. I like my play everywhere. I like my cross saves. And compared to my PlayStation and my Switch, which I still do enjoy myself, I just like being in this network. And I'm a physical collector. And I know everyone kind of has their own preference for stuff like that. Obviously, there's space, there's convenience, and everything else. If you know me by now, if you followed me on Twitter, Instagram, or watched any of my content, or had any conversations with me, I'm beating a dead horse with here. All right? I'm beating a dead horse. You all know what my opinions are, my takes are. I just think that this is a pretty cool concept. As I said last night, I feel like sometimes the only reason I have a YouTube account is because I have a different opinion than my For You on my Twitter tab. Because if you go on the Twitter tab, everyone's kind of shitting on the price point, saying this and that, Microsoft's dead, Xbox sucks, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, it sucks because this has been like a very cool week in terms of just the pure software that we are getting for Microsoft games, and even on PlayStation. I'm going to be honest, even on PlayStation. Microsoft has released 3 really damn good games these past 2 weeks with The Keeper, Ninja Gaiden 4, and now it looks like Outer Worlds 2. But then everything comes out and just kind of destroys their momentum. It is kind of weird how it always seems to happen that way. And it says, anyone who isn't console warring has been praising the $1,000 handheld, or at least doesn't have a ton of bad things to say about it. Correct. Yeah, that's correct. And Mr. Nerdtick says here, I leaned far more towards Xbox even when I owned all the consoles. Now I'm more PC, but I still love the Game Pass PC. And that's what I mean. As I've said before, I think you might have saw there, Jay, but I've said to people many times, it's like, look, the next Xbox, I'm going to treat that as an extension of my PC. I hope it has all the open storefronts. I hope it's like a really high end. It gives me consistent 60 FPS. And, I hope the price point isn't too insane. But looking at the PlayStation 5 Pro and how much it costs with a disc tray and everything like that, I've basically just kind of accepted that the hardware is just becoming more expensive. And like I said, look, I'm going to be real here. My Xbox Series X, I'm not getting rid of. If they come out with a new Xbox, I'm pretty sure the Series X is still going to be supported. So let's just say this. It might cost me another $2,000 to fully get into this giant PC ecosystem beyond Microsoft. That's including Steam, that's including GOG, that's including Epic, that's including Battle.net, that's Ubisoft, EA, whatever. I know that's a lot of money, like $2,000. That's more than what some people make in a single paycheck. That's more money than some people make in a month. I'm not doubting the plight of the person right now, especially this economy. The economy is slowly getting better, but slowly is the key word there. Slowly. It's still a lot. You got to decide, like, how are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to fill up your tank if you have to drive anywhere? Some of us have kids. The truth of the matter is that it is not cheap to be a gamer. And if you want to be a cheap gamer, you're going to have to wait and miss out and just live on living off your backlogs. And there are people that can do that. I like, if you don't cover this stuff, if this isn't your job, if this isn't like your super over the top hobby, like I need to have the latest and greatest, like someone like me, like someone autistic like me. But like, it is not cheap to be a gamer. And like I said, even if you went just the PC and the PlayStation route and you wanted to kind of get in more on this, well, you got to spend $750 just on a base PS5. $100 more for a disk drive. On top of that, too, if you want more storage space, that's like $100 to $200 investment right there, too. After that, if you want to get like the little cloud device on your go, well, you got to spend at least $150 to $200 on that little dedicated PS portal. Or you could just buy a Steam Deck and transform that into your portal, too, if you're good with modding, which you could be for $400, and so on and so forth. It isn't cheap. Like this hobby, we are far past the days of just like our parents buying us a $100 GameCube console, and we would go to Blockbuster and see what we could rent for like $5 for like a week, Hopefully that changes. Hopefully that changes, and we can start to see some prices break and everything else like that. But I can't predict the future. I just can talk about like what's going on now with people. It's just I encourage people to, not always overtly react emotionally, but I also encourage people not to fucking just bend over and let them fuck you. Unless that's your thing. If that's your thing, if that's your kink, by all means. I know some people are into some weird kinks. coming over here, Mr. Nerd Takes. Yes, then if you want to play any Nintendo games, there's another 500 for just the console. At least with others, there's some crossover. And Mr. Nerdy Neo stopping by. My buddy Rozek got the Ally last week. He loves it. Did he get the cheap version or the awesome super version there, Neo? Let me know when you got a chance. But let's go back to Miss Sarah Bond and this guy. I forgot his name already. We're going to call him Jeff.
It a little bit before our interview. It feels like Xbox controllers in your hand. Obviously, it's a little bit heavier because there's more hardware there, but it does have that kind of familiar Xbox feeling. And then it's a full-powered Windows gaming laptop in a way.
Yeah, well, and it's hard actually to talk about it and not pick it up, I'll be honest. Yeah, when you hold it and you close your eyes, it feels like an Xbox controller. But you're right, it is powered by Windows.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty cool aspect of it because once you go through Ubi, every other time you open the device, you boot right into an Xbox experience. But because it's Windows, any game that you have that you've bought from a PC store that's on this device, it all shows up in one library, which is so awesome for gamers.
Yeah, and that's kind of been part of Xbox's strategy, right? Like more cross-platform games, like less focus on exclusives. Can you kind of tell me how this fits into the Xbox like big picture strategy? Why this? Why the handheld?
Well, we've always believed that people want to be able to play any game they want, anywhere they want, with anyone. And gaming is entertainment. You should be able to take it with you everywhere. You shouldn't be constrained to a single device. You shouldn't be locked to a single store. And this is the manifestation of it.
Yeah, so do you imagine most people will have an Xbox console and they'll also have the new Ally handheld? Is that kind of the big picture vision?
You know, I think that we'll see a whole range of people using it. For some folks, this will be the device they want to game on. They want to take their games with them anywhere. They're a PC enthusiast. They want to be able to access all of their stores in one place.
So I kind of want to add on a little bit to this too. Like I said, I have a Steam Deck. As Neo said, his buddy Rozik's got the Ally. I know some other people have Switches and Steam Decks and a combination of everything like that too. I like my Steam Deck, but I will tell you this right now. I mostly don't use my Steam Deck to game as a handheld device. I actually, believe it or not, I bought a secondary dock and I use it as a glorified Switch system. I got my Xbox controller hooked up to it wirelessly, and that's the primary way how I played the new Yakuza Pirates game. Was I played it on my Steam Deck docked with my Xbox controller when I was in my bedroom, kind of getting ready for bed, or when I would wake up, I'd grab it and just walk over to my game room and just kind of set it up there too. Ando says, funny how she ain't even attempting to show off the cheap white version. And then Nerd Takes this here is, why is this guy's eyes closed when he's talking to her? I don't know. Maybe it's a nervousness. He got the Ally X. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know, Neo. Yeah, like I said, I want to get one of these just because of the cross-play and the cross-saves, or the cross-saves mostly. Because, like I said, this thing lets me continue to bring all my Xbox data over, all my PC games over, all my stuff like that that's actually important to me on the go.
Because you can also plug it into the TV and project to the TV as well. And then there's going to be other people we know that are console users where this is a great add-on to your console experience. One of the cool things we did for console users in here is in the UI, if you have a game that you started on the console and then you stopped in that game and you grabbed your Ally and you're somewhere out in the world walking around, it actually knows right where you left off, and you can go right back in and play that game. And if it's installed on the device, you're playing it natively. But if for some reason it's not on a device, you can actually play it over the cloud. It knows right where you were.
So does this have quick resume? Is that what she's implying? Does it have like a built-in kind of quick resume kind of feature, or is this all just like cloud going? I gotta look into that more. That sounds interesting.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
One of the coolest features I've seen so far is the kind of co-pilot integration.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things is you can actually press the button and ask the AI questions. Where does AI fit into gaming? Is that the vision that everyone has their own like built-in AI assistant as they're playing games from now on?
Well, we just believe that anyone should be able to jump in and play a game, and we should make it easy and accessible, and it should be in flow state with you. So yeah, the way it works is you like long press this button. You could be in the middle of a game. You can ask it, hey, can you tell me how I actually use the ABXY, or what do I do now, or which way do I turn and what happens, and it will help you out. And so it really opens up more games for more people. Like there's some games that are super intimidating, like so many people were intimidated by Elden Ring, right?
Right. That's a great one.
So people will be more likely to try more games, and people stay in games longer. So the team worked really hard to integrate it into the full experience for you versus having to go out, go ask something else. Here it is in flow state. It understands your context. It understands what you want to do, and it can.
So that's an interesting thing there about AI being like a helpful assistant. I know Sony did something like that with its trophy system, where you can pin it and they can help you figure out like how to do a trophy and keep track of stuff like that. I wonder if they're that sounds interesting, to say the least. I don't know how that one will work, to be honest with you. Neo says, let's check in on what Neo says over here. I think she's talking about how Play Anywhere uses cloud save, so you can have your same save data anywhere you have internet access. That's what I was thinking, but she also kind of made it sound like if I had it like say, for example, in I'm blanking, but you know what I'm saying, like your save state from your Xbox carry over to like that too. And Nando says, hey, Copilot, while I'm gaming, describe how Smash JT performed in that debate. Oh, my goodness. If you haven't had a chance to watch that last night's stream, you will see me break down and die slowly inside listening to some of that. It was very fun. NerdTake says here, basically, AI, why am I ass at this game? It's your coping session. You just cope to the AI. Oh my god, our friend fucking Fernando, Mr. Shed Freak, he's gonna hit down on it. It's like, this game fucking cheats. Why is this game fucking cheat? Copilot
can help you.
I'm lost. Where do I go from here?
Oh, we're seeing in action. Oh, perfect.
You're right at the Horizon Festival site in Mexico, so pretty much a prime starting spot. Just follow the road out of the festival area and you can explore anywhere you want to go from there.
Yeah, I assumed it would be watching your screen, and that's how it would know, but it seems like it's also reading other data, like it knows what game you're in, or it knows kind of like what you have in the background, what tools are available, so like it's actually pulling in info from a few different places, not just what's on the screen, right?
Yeah, we wanted to build your own gaming sidekick. Like you should never have to game alone ever again, even if you're just holding this device.
Neo, last night, Zero, Cream NATO, Vex, and me rewatched the Colin Moriarty and Smash JT, I guess, debate that happened on his channel. If you want, the link to that is on the YouTube channel under a community post that I've had. A link will take you right to the exact YouTube video if you want to watch that. It was 5 hours, though, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty funny, I would say. But that's a pretty cool feature. I don't hate AI being used for that as long as it's not playing for you. But I guess that's not too terrible. I think that's one of the more fun ways to look at it. And then we got Mr. Cage. How you doing, Mr. Cage? You doing good, buddy? How was your stream? I saw you were just streaming.
And so it does do that. When you push the button, it knows where you are in the game. It also knows what game you're playing. It also knows your gamer profile and a whole bunch of things about all of your gamer identity with Xbox. And it uses all of those to give you recommendations, to give you tips, to recommend other games for you.
To sell your data to the Chinese. Let's be honest.
Operating in context of what you want and what you most need.
Yeah, and I mean, to put it in Xbox terms, it kind of feels like your own personal, like, Cortana. You know?
I've had a couple people say that.
But it seems like it's that kind of idea, right? Like, it's a voice in your head that talks to you, that helps you solve problems. And
it's your friend. Yeah, helps you through your game.
Very cool. So you talked about making gaming accessible. That's definitely something I've heard you say in other interviews as well. I know this starts at $1,000. I know we've recently seen some price increases with Xbox Game Pass. some increases on devices and consoles. And I mean, that's got to cut into accessibility a little bit. How do you think about that as president of Xbox, like in terms of making games accessible?
Yeah, there is a lot going on, but at Xbox, what we're focused on is how do we create options for everybody? So with this device, we have two devices. We have the Ally X. It's for a premium experience for the most demanding player. It has all the latest innovation in it. We also have the Xbox Ally if you're a more casual enthusiast who wants to jump in, or you're looking for something cool to buy your kid to put under the tree, this Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's all about having choice and option for players in a time when there's a lot going on and there's a lot of different things that people want.
Interesting. Yeah, the rumors are that the next gen console will be almost more like a gaming PC in a lot of ways. That it'll be super high powered. I don't know if you can speak to that at all, but I mean, that would be helpful for me because there's a lot of like PC games I'd love to play, but like I said, getting the barrier of entry seems like it's really high. So if there was a console that could kind of be a game.
So yeah, I want to address this real quick here too. Sorry about that. I was responding to some private messages, but yeah, I like how Mr. Nerdtag here says, I don't like the way they try to push AI as a friend. It's a tool. Leave it at that. Well, listen, Gooner's got a goon, right? Like they got to have friends. Some of these people are lonely, they're lonely people. Would you rather them be friends with their AI and just like talk to them all day? Or would you rather them form knitting circles online trying to destroy Western civilization? I don't know. Both will probably end the same way.
PC and console in one, like that'd be helpful for me. I don't know what you can tell us about the next gen console. Any?
Well, I can tell you're right that the next gen console is going to be a very premium, very high end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking that we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away.
We're talking a lot about the hardware, the devices. But, when we think about
hey, Wingus, how you doing,
moments,
buddy?
Like I mentioned Halo, or I remember playing Myst, with my dad.
Yeah. Oh my God, Myst was good.
It was.
Now you're really hitting the nostalgia.
I'm really
extra
dating myself.
Yeah.
But we haven't really talked a lot about.
Shout out Myst. Everyone, you must now type Myst in the chat to join this cult of Myst. If you don't, you're all fake gamers.
Like games, and I know like exclusives have been less of a focus. It seems like with Xbox we're getting more like cross-platform games. Where do like big blockbuster exclusives fit into this, if at all, or is it kind of evolving past that place?
We're really seeing people evolve way past that. Like the biggest games in the world are available everywhere.
Yeah.
You look at Call of Duty, you look at Minecraft, you look at Fortnite, you look at Roblox. Like that's actually what's really driving community in gaming. That's where people gather, they have experiences. And the idea of locking it to one store or one device is antiquated for most people. You want to be able to play with your friends anywhere, regardless of what they're on. And we're really leaning into that with this experience because it just opens up another way for you to play. As does cloud, as does PC, as does the consoles that we all own and have in our living room.
Thank you so much for joining Mashable in the studio. This has been the highlight of my week. I was so excited we got to do this. This is a really cool product.
Well, thanks for having me, and I look forward to you telling me more about how you enjoy.
So right there, you basically hear the whole information of what they're doing. They're trying to kind of make it more of the hardware is not so much the identity, it's the software that's the identity. And you basically hear the argument that they're making. Call of Duty, Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite. It is very scripted. You're right about that. It's an interview, let's just be honest here. And it's probably been highly edited and curated to show off the part. You saw the jump cuts and everything too, to try to show off the best. That's what a lot of interviews are nowadays. They're not like the raw 3-hour Joe Rogan interviews. It's very short. This is like 8 minutes and just under 30 seconds. So probably they maybe had a half an hour with her at most. And they kind of cut it down to like get the most points across and found out what was good, what was not good, and stuff like that too. Nothing new with that one, but like you hear it from here, and even Matt Booty recently came out and said our competition isn't another console, it's TikTok. And I know that caused a lot of people to go like, but you make games, bro, blah, blah, blah. The truth of the matter is just like with everything, it's like you are competing against stuff to try to get people's eyes and attentions away from them, You only have so many screens, devices, time, and my wife doesn't really play video games, but she spends a lot of time on her phone. And kids nowadays, like, they can play Fortnite on their phone. They can do all these other things on their phone. They don't really need a dedicated video game console anymore to do a lot of this play stuff. So, generally speaking, if I may just be very so blunt about it, I see what Microsoft is doing, and it's a strategy that does not really appeal towards antiquated, older boomer dinosaurs like us. All right, this is geared towards trying to secure longer term success while trying to balance out like the numbers at the end of the day. It's a numbers game, Mason. But that was a very interesting little thing as well too. And here, let's go with Mr. Nerd Takes here. See, I was confused by what he meant with that statement, but the explanation makes sense. So many screens, so little time. Yeah, it's just like with everything. Like, you can like relate to this, Jay, all right? Because you're also a big cinema guy. You watch movies and stuff like that too. You play video games, and on top of that too, let's be honest, you got a lovely wife, a beautiful baby. And it's time. It's like, what's convenient? What's more time? It's like, why is physical media losing out to digital media? It's all about like that instant gratification, It's, why do I play on PC? Why do I spend more of my time playing on like a handheld device? Because I don't want to stare at a PC screen all day and stuff like that too, And plus, like, you and I are football fans, so like, you understand. It's like, there's only so much time you could dedicate to all your hobbies. There's only so much time you could dedicate to some things. Like, why I kind of quit watching a lot of movies and TV shows was very simple. I don't have time. I want to play video games. I like video games more, so I focus more on video games and stuff like that, Yeah, totally get the concept now. Like I said, it's very easy to get wrapped up into the emotion of the argument, It's like, I read people go like, why buy an Xbox? Why do this? Why do that? I'm like, if it plays games, does it play the games you like? And if the answer is yes, then who cares? At the end of the day, it's like, does it do thing I want to do? And that's all you really need. Like, people get like way too caught up into this thing. It's like, it's their personality. And like, we've seen it with like console fanboys and politics and stuff like that. I always tell people this, and if this is the first time you're hearing it, I've got to say it again, just for everyone to remember. Don't let being a fan of something replace your personality. All right? Everyone here should have their own sort of free will. Everyone should have their own sort of personality. It's great to be a fan. It's great to love something. Like, I can talk to you about anything. The Chicago Bears sucking ass, but they're kind of good right now. Kind of good. But that's what I say. They look okay, which is better than bad. There's all these amazing video games that people should try to like fit into their time. Like, they should talk more about like what's interesting, what's cool, what's out there. Like, for me, I want people to be a fan of what I like. I don't want people to be a fan of like Xbox per se, unless they're like, I like Xbox as a publisher. I like Sony as a publisher. I like Capcom as a publisher. It's like stuff like that, where it's like, when I was a kid, I got more into like the console war stuff about like the 360 and the PS3, because I only had a PS3 and my let me phrase it. I had a 360 and my PS3 is all broke on me. So like, it was a little different there, And Neo says over here, anytime someone uses the why buy an Xbox argument, I ask them why buy a Ford or a Toyota. Like, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it's just like, I like this. I feel comfortable in this, I don't make a fucking dollar off of doing YouTube, and I definitely do not make any money when I go and buy a fucking video game for insert company. All right? I make $0. In fact, I lose money. I lose a lot of money, all right? Especially for someone like me. Like, fuck. My wife was like, we could bought a second house on fucking Florida, all right? But, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's stuff like that. It's just like, I want to talk more about like the games and the art, and I feel like when it comes to a lot of the online conversation now, especially with YouTubes and stuff, it comes down to more of like a lot of the inside baseball. Like they all like want to be GMs and run a team, but they are all really bad GMs that don't know how to fucking build a team, keep a team together, and they couldn't tell you talent about anything like that. You know, it's like what are we doing here? Like there are stuff that does not affect the game, and we should talk more about the games just as much as we talk about the industry. It's all about finding that equal balance of the takes. It is that perfect harmony, you know? And some weeks when there's less game software to talk about, like, yeah, that should be like dominated more by like the inside baseball stuff. And when there's a lot of good art out there that people should look into, like people should play, like there should be weeks just dominated by that. Like I said, Ninja Gaiden 4, The Keeper came out last week. Those games are really good. People are having fun with them. Outer Worlds 2 looks like it's got a lot of great reviews. So hopefully that game meets a lot of people's expectations once it reaches more people in the wild. And then Nerd takes over here. He's a big Pats fan. So Drake May, though, here. You might not like what I have to say about this. I'm going to be honest. I want to see him play a good team. All right. I think you saw that meme that was going around there, buddy, where it was like, I can't believe the Patriots came back from that, from like the Boston sports fans or something like that. And then on top of that, too, everyone was like, oh my God, can you believe the time Drake May came back down 6 by the Panthers with 56 minutes left or something like that? Like, I think he could be a good quarterback. I just want to see him play tougher competition, because even when he played the Bills, like that defense is pretty banged up. I don't want to use this term, but I also had another buddy who was a Patriots fan. But remember when Mac Jones was doing like really good that season? And I said to him, I was like, hey man, I want to see him play against some better teams. And it was the night that we went to go see the Patriots play the Colts in Indianapolis. You know, but that's just what I'm saying. He's doing good. He's doing good for what your team should be doing. Like, it doesn't matter if your team is bad. You just got to be the best of the bad to show improvement. You know what I mean? Like, if your team is playing another bad team, they need to beat the other bad team to prove that they're not as bad as that bad team. You know? It's like the Bears right now. Like, the Bears have been just good enough to beat the worst teams like that they've played. The Bears haven't like really beat anyone like super great right now. All right, they beat the Saints, they beat the Raiders, and you know those teams are dog shit. So the Bears and the Patriots right now, I kind of consider them both at the same level, where they're like, these teams could be powerhouses in like another draft or two, and they could be like real contenders. But right now, I think they're just sitting in that like a good 8 and 9, 9 and 8 kind of squabble. That's my opinion on both the Bears and them, you know? Yeah, that was a fool's gold year. Indy smacked us up. Yeah, I was at that game, bro. I will say this. We were dressed in Patriots gear, and they were very nice to us, all the Indianapolis fans. So there's that, too. And Neo says here, just got a notification that my Metro Prime art book should arrive on Tuesday. Ooh! You got to show that off, buddy. You got to show that off. But yeah, let's go over to another talking point over here too. And this one we're going to continue on with some more Xbox news. And this will be, I think, the last one I want to share of that one. But over here we have Phil Spencer, who did a interview recently. It says Xbox playtime in Japan increased around 20% in the past year across console, PC, and cloud. Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer says shares insight of Xbox activities in Japan as local playtime grows. So a 20% growth is great, just for a lot of this stuff too. But another thing as well, he did emphasize that a lot of this growth was from the PC side. And he said a lot of PC gaming has been growing a lot for the Japanese players. So if you want, I will link this article right now so people could read it on their own time. So if they want a good interest on that, there you go. So I would say highly check that out if you want to get more details of that. But I just thought that was interesting to say that it seems that Microsoft has been making some decent inroads to grow their playtime and their sales out in Japan. and it's mostly been driven by PC, so it has definitely not been consoles as well. Also, we got Mr. Ando says, my Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 1 limited run collector's editions are arriving Monday. I have my PlayStation 4 ones are arriving today, but they're not mine. They're from our buddies. And my Xbox versions of those are coming. They just shipped. I'm very interested in getting those as well, too. I can't wait. I'm not a big limited run hater, but god damn it, guys. You need to fucking step up your game when it comes to all this other fucking timing stuff as well. So that's the one thing here for that one. Next story I wanted to share. This one is from Twitter. And if I can bring up the statement. Massive Entertainment, the studio behind The Division and stuff like that. So let's read the statement together, shall we? As part of our ongoing evolution and long-term planning, we have recently realigned our teams and resources to strengthen our roadmap, ensuring our continued focus on the Division franchise and the technologies, including Snowdrop and Ubisoft Connect, that power our games. To support this transition responsibly, we introduced a voluntary career transition program. AKA, you're fucking fired! You're fired! You are now upgraded to unemployed! Congratulations! Giving eligible team members the opportunity to take their next career step on their own terms. AKA, here's a severance package or you get nothing. Support by comprehensive packages that include financial and career assistance, aka we will write you a good letter of recommendation. Massive Entertainment remains fully committed to our roadmap and creating great experiences for players around the world, including the Division 2, the Division 2 Survivors, the Division Resurgence, and the Division 3. So I guess they're working on Division 3 confirmed if you like the Division. These projects continue with strength, focus, and ambition, and we look forward to sharing more in the future. So, if anyone's wondering what's going on with the Division, layoffs. A nice way of saying layoffs right there. Has anyone played the Division out there? I played a little bit of the Division 2, but never really got into it because I never had people to consistently play with. I know the first Division was liked. I know the second one was really liked, but I don't know what the monthly player count is on these games, too, to be honest with you. So let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are. All right, next up. This one is going back to more football talk here as well. Ari Minovari, or Miarov, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name. But for all of those that can't read this, the NFL and EA Sports have agreed on extension through 2030 season for League's Madden video game license. So anyone who is a big fan of Madden, congratulations. They're still going to be making Madden games en masse. All right. Next up, we got a very quick one. This one I just put in here for me because I'm a huge fan of Persona 3, as everyone knows. They are adding 8 new battle tracks to the game. So for people out there who really like Persona 3 and are interested, we got some more music that will be heading our way for Persona 3. So I will link that one out there too. This is from the Sega release proper. Neo says, I played the Division demo, didn't have enough to take me away from Destiny. Fair enough. Next up, this one has kind of been going around a little bit more. This is from VGC as well, to kind of add more to this subject for people to look into. And that is PUBG and Subnautica publisher Krafton says it's transforming into an AI-first company. So just to, we're going to get like a little bit of the notes here too. I won't go over this full article, and I will link it for everyone to check it out later. Krafton, the South Korean publisher behind PUBG, Subnautica, Hi-Fi Rush, and more, has announced its intentions to restructure into an AI-first company. An announcement made to local press on Thursday, Krafton CEO Kim Chang-han said the company has reorganized its developing operations to place AI at the center of its problem solving. So basically, I guess what that means is that they're going to really heavily rely on AI to both reduce production cost and kind of be the new QA testers, as well as many other things that we don't know about. But link to the article is right there in the description. And then that's what I like to say right there. And finally, for the last news story before we hit the really big idea, this one, I've seen a lot of comments about stuff online here about this game. I'm a Pokemon fan, as everyone knows, so I kind of want to make this one very clear for a lot of people here, my thoughts and give a take on it. Pokemon Legends ZA sales top 5.8 million in 1 week. For the people who don't know about what's been going on online, is that there's been a lot of hate towards this Pokemon game, and I don't really know why, per se. I guess it's Nintendo. I guess it's Pokemon. I guess it's kind of easy to hate on the popular thing. But from all accounts I've been hearing, I've only played a little bit, so I can't give you a full opinion yet. Hopefully, after I'm done with Yakuza 5, I'm going to switch right over to this and give you more details next week. But everyone was like saying online, like the game's a flop. It's not selling well. It's not doing that well. And ZA, from all accounts, isn't the best-selling Switch game of all time or the fastest seller, but it's not the worst either. It actually beat out Arceus in some categories, and it's, I think they said recently in another article, I couldn't find it, but all the Pokemon games that have released on the Nintendo Switch have sold about 100 million copies across all their games. You know, let me make that clear again. 100 million copies from every Nintendo Switch Pokemon game that they released. So Pokemon is not anywhere near dead on the Nintendo Switch at all. If anything, by far, it is the most profitable IP for Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch Entertainment System. So, if we want to take if we want to be hyperbolic, this is gonna be hyperbolic, because I think the Nintendo Switch sold about like 150 million console units as last time I checked for the original Switch, and then the Switch 2 I think sold close to 10 so far, or 7, I can't remember. That is a very high adoption rate for anyone who owns a Nintendo Switch, that there is a high probability that a Nintendo Switch owner that might own one copy of a Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch. And that's insane. Especially when we look for other sales figures for other for first-party exclusives, where they only sell like 10 million or 12 million, you know? So I wanted to point this out, that also I think they said it says right here too, nearly half of those units sold were played on the Nintendo Switch 2. So just under like 3.8 million or something like that were basically Switch 2 copies. And the Switch 2 has a much, much, much smaller install base than the Switch 1. So this is kind of goes back to what I'm saying about something. Even if you don't like something and you don't like necessarily are a fan or care about it, I would say just don't always believe what you hear online from somebody who's just trying to get you to click on their video and stuff like that. Our friend of the show, Mr. IJP Mexican, very, very blown away. Been loving it. He's been posting about it a lot. I know our other buddy, Mr. Woopa Troopa, has also picked up this game as well. So, yeah, very strong start. I wonder how many units it will sell for the holidays with the Switch bundle, and of course, just regular holiday sales in general. But yeah, that's it for the news segment of the show. And now we're gonna end this show off of the big idea, and I actually have this headline here too. I got some pushback on Twitter from some people about it, but I feel like this is a good way to end the show, as like a food for thought and a nice how could I say, word exercise. That's the correct term here. So from VGC again, more than 1,200 games journalists have left the media in the last 2 years. According to press engineer data, the global pool of games journalism has shrunk by 25% as of for the last 2 years. So here's the thing. I'm gonna be straightforward and explain why I think this is, and a lot of them are going to be very noticeable. A lot of them will have a little bit of politics to them, and just in general, I think I'm going to try to also be fair. So obviously, we know the whole thing that happened with things like Gamergate, the 2010s, and how everything kind of changed after Trump's election and stuff like that. We saw how games media started to push more and more of these race politicking and stuff like that too inside of their reviews and everything. So we were getting reviews like Horizon Zero Dawn was cultural appropriation. We got reviews saying like the PS5 was like kind of being released during like the BLM and Trump and COVID and how that's really bad and something like that. We would see game reviewers make negative notations about games like, say, Days Gone and such for having a white guy as the lead, or even, for example, Star Wars Fallen Order. They were saying like, oh, white guy as the main protagonist, how boring and stuff like that, you know? And these were at companies like IGN. These were at companies like Kotaku. These were from games journalists like, Miranda Sanchez or Jason Schreier. Or I'm trying to remember her other name. Lucy. Her name was Lucy, I think. She worked at IGN or something. I don't know, but she looked like the the kind of woman that would just want to speak to your manager. Let me get a sip real quick here. God, this is a terrible energy drink. Don't ever get it, guys. But we saw basically the hyper, identity politics, the id poll is for short. We saw the games journalists just give up on trying to focus on ethics. We saw normies who may agree with a lot of their political points go like, why are you even doing this? I want to know, is like this game good or is this game bad? Recently, this very website, VGC, I think, made a no, Bing. It's Bing. Bing. PD's Bing over here, there, Cream. But we saw. Let me get refocus. Awkward turtle. Okay, we're back in. We saw just recently from this very same outlet, they reviewed Outer Worlds 2, and in the thing, they had to bring up Microsoft doing the layoffs and how that's like a bad thing and how it kind of took away from their games. And look, I can see them wanting to make that point and everything too. But it is more than just that too. Like, these companies are losing viewers because they're just going to YouTube. For by hook or by crook, they're going to go to YouTube. And some of these journalists have also become YouTubers themselves, It's they are kind of getting replaced, and I said this before. I think I might have said it last night on your show, Cream, too. They're being replaced by social media. You got people like ACG. You got people like oh crap, who's that Australian guy? You guys can know him. He's a very popular one, but I'm forgetting his name. But you could go to people like Colin Moriarty. You could go to people like Gene Park. You could go to people like, hey there, pop culture mechanic, how you doing? He says, Guten Tag, Carl. Guten Tag to you. But like, you have people now that are just going to go to trophy guides. Like, if you're an achievement hunter, I don't need to go to IGN to read a walkthrough anymore when there's probably a streamer, like a very famous one, that I can go to now, and I can just watch their playthrough. If I get stuck on a puzzle, I usually will go YouTube, say for example, Skill Up. There you go. Thank you, Neo. Skill Up. But I will go to, like, say, a Skill Up, and I'll watch his playthrough, and I'll go and correct my mistakes and everything there too. Also with things like E3 kind of dying and all these game companies now having like 2, 3, maybe even 4 major like game release events where people, section off time to go do all this stuff. Where like like our other friends too, like the Gronking guys, they'll set aside a couple hour shows, either super early or super late, to just show off like what is going on with the latest thing. You'll listen to them give their opinions, give their reactions and stuff like that too. It is all kind of like out there now, where games media, they helped accelerate their own death in a lot of areas, but they've also really made it like we're just kind of beat out by natural progression. All right, as I always say before, I'm not saying like this is a 1-for-1 for comparison, but what also helped end slavery was the invention of modernization to make it a lot easier to just have a machine do the work of like 100 men. And like what we see all the time with like these video game companies and stuff like that too now is that they're kind of just going to YouTubers and former games journalists and stuff like that and letting them be the mouthpiece of their movements too. And I'm going to take a drink here real quick and I'll bring up a couple comments here. Yeah, Cream says over here, Destin is the one who has a ton of access. He does. I used to listen to Destin Legary all the time on Podcast Unlocked because him and Ryan McCaffrey and Miranda Sanchez and the one girl who kind of looks like Bayonetta, who is like my type of woman in terms of look. I forget her name off the top of my head, but like, yeah, they used to be there. Pop Culture says, I get my game reviews at RGN Gaming. Well, I'm trying to do more of those. I had one game review and it broke. My system broke. But hopefully we'll get more of that starting next year. I'm trying to work more about this new Pokemon game. I'm working with my capture card to try to record stuff and try to do more of that stuff for people out there. Ando says, literally type in the game and 100% guide and you'll often find better stuff than IGN can do. Yes, Neo agrees with that one. Hate IGN website because it's so loaded with ads. Yeah, and that's another thing too. This is going to be another direct comparison right now. But like when we looked at shows like X-Play and we looked at stuff like how X-Play started, when they were originally in San Francisco to when they moved to LA, and then when G4 started to run out of like resources, like the show just basically became like ads for like, here's the game sponsored by Doritos, and the heart and soul of the reviews and everything like that just kind of left, and we had like nothing to really work with for watching them. So we kind of went back to like what I was saying, the rise of YouTube was also kind of starting around this time as well, like the Angry Video Game Nerd and all these other people were starting to replace G4 and Attack of the Show and all that. And some of these people are still around, Some of the people ended up in video games and did like other stuff like that too. Adam Sessler, shout out Adam Sessler, who shares the same name as me. Another Adam who is a disappointment to the name Adam. Excuse me. But even he was like one of the first games journalists to like implement like major change at a video game, because he bitched about a trophy for one of the God of War games. I think it was like called Bros Before Hoes, and he was so offended and he bitched and moaned enough that Sony Santa Monica eventually changed that name. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my water because I'm just out of this one. And my throat's starting to get really dry. I'm not used to talking this long by myself. So give me about 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I forgot my water on the landing. But yeah, Neo says here too, I listened to Ryan McCaffrey every week back when he did the official Xbox Magazine podcast. And I will say this. I think a lot of these games journalists were actually decent. Or let me rephrase that. A lot of them are actually probably decent people in real life. Like Ryan McCaffrey, I think is a really nice guy. I've listened to him get interviewed. He does really good interview series on IGN Unfiltered, I think is the podcast called. It's called IGN Unfiltered. That's the one where I listened to the whole interview with the It Takes Two and Split Fiction director Joseph Ferris. He's interviewed like Ton Howard, all these like really big names in industry. So I will say that if you want to listen to a good podcast, look up IGN Unfiltered if you want to like learn more about some of these devs that you kind of liked and stuff like that too. But I think like 2020 broke a lot of them. Like I stopped listening to Podcast Unlocked because it started to be like the I'm a white guilt suffering podcast. Like Ryan McCaffrey would bring on like some black influencer in the game industry. Sometimes none of them played video games really, had no idea what an Xbox was. It's where he brought on that Khalif Adams guy or something. I can't remember the guy's name. That guy, and I've said this before, he would have knelt on George Floyd's neck himself if it meant he got more screen time on some other show. And, it's like, well, I'm kind of done here too. I kind of got tired of listening to them talk about how much they, didn't like conservatives. I'm not conservative really myself, but I'm just like, none of this stuff matters. Like it does take away from the whole gaming process that we are seeing. And the change, what I would say wasn't gradual. It was gradual sometimes, but it was fucking swift when it would just go straight downhill, And like I said, even though Colin Moriarty, I think he's a smug asshole, I used to really like listening to his stuff too, because they actually know a lot about the gaming industry. Like these people have spent, decades upon decades making connections and talking to people and working inside the gaming industry. And that's been also a little bit of a downside as well, where we saw some of these Nepo hires get work at companies. But, Tina Armini, I like Tina Armini. Me and her probably would never agree on anything politically, but I always liked listening to her gaming takes. She now works at Microsoft. Andrew Goldfarb, he's a former IGN employee. Now he's the PR director at Sucker Punch. The guy who made Rocket League, he's a former games journalist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Even though this guy is a complete weirdo, that Star Wars Starfighter game, he was a former games journalist too, who wrote the storyline as well for that too. So there are a lot of people in the industry that have went off and done, successful or do good things inside of the gaming industry who've worked for all these other outlets. Now, we've also seen a departure of a lot of talent too, like Dustin Legary. He's now on YouTube. Even though I think this guy is vastly overrated, Jason Schreier, for the longest time, was like considered the gold standard for games journalism. He left Kotaku. That fucking company is basically dead now, and now he's working at Bloomberg, where he does generally get a lot of good scoops, but I would say a lot of his good scoops kind of are more agenda driven to fit like his worldview and stuff like that, so on and so forth. Oh god, this energy drink is so bad. I think it's just because it's got like real raspberry juice, and it tastes like cough syrup, like old, outdated cough syrup. It's fucking disgusting. It's so bad. It's like I rather have the flu for another week than have to take that if that's the medicine. But like we're saying too, it's just like YouTube, podcasters, all the stuff. Like you've seen these companies pivot away from like articles and stuff like that to actually just being podcast networks themselves. Even right here, you see like this ad right here, the VGC Listen Here podcast. Every one of these sites have a podcast. Game Informer had a podcast, and Game Informer had a really good podcast before it closed down. Now a lot of those people, they kind of left and formed another thing. I followed them on here. Let me see if I can find the YouTube channel. I will give them a shout out too. And then also here, Pop Culture says, Energy drinks, those are all poison. Everything's poison, right? I try to look for the ones that are more natural pop culture. So like they're the equivalent of just drinking a coffee more than like all full of artificial dyes and flavors and stuff like that. I've been trying to stay more towards the natural stuff as well. So like yeah, I'm gonna switch over here real quick for this one so people could see this channel. It's called MinMax over here on YouTube. And if you want to check them out, give them a follow if you're looking for some more video game sites that are pretty cool and pretty fun. A lot of these guys I've recognized from IGN, Game Informer, and just other gaming networks too. Like here, hold on a second. Like Kyle Hillenbrand, I recognize him. Jacob Glenn, Leo Vader. Like a lot of these people used to, I think, be at Game Informer. Ben Henson or Hansen. Like a lot of these people used to be Game Informer employees, and they kind of formed their own YouTube channel and stuff like that. There was a video I shared with other people. Let me see if I can find it. It was pretty good one. They had like the Ghost of Yote interview with the devs if you want to check that out. Oh, here he goes. Can mid-sized developers survive the modern game industry? Which a lot of people I shared that. I haven't listened to that one yet, but I hear a lot of people say that was a very good one. So if you're looking to support them, you know what? I'll link it into the channel below so people can kind of get a gather at it. And it says here, you guys also get drinks and stuff that we don't in Canada. Very true. Very true. Why didn't I just have the fucking link that one? I'm fucking stupid. I bring it up. I'm like, you guys should follow it. Clicks off of it. Oh. You know, if I was a bear of average intelligence, I would have remembered to do that before I closed out of it. Here we go. But yeah, this is the MinMax show on YouTube. If you're looking for more information and ways to be informed on gaming, highly recommend checking them out as well. So, I think that'll do it right there. That's going to be my closing thought about all the stuff that we have going on with gaming right there. If you haven't already, I would say please leave a like and maybe a comment. You know, help boost this algorithm to kind of catch on. I don't know if my channel gets hype points, but if you got those and you don't know what to do with them, hey, waste them here. Who cares, right? They're not real. Just like everything online, it's not real. Just like the show, it's a social construct. But yeah, I think that'll do it. Relatively short show, about maybe started at like just a little after 12:30, so about hour 40, about hour 40 almost when all is said and done. If you missed some of the show, go back and kind of catch it a little bit earlier, rewatch it, see some cool video game trailers. Like I said, not really too many game pickups this week or too much gaming news to talk about or what games I've been playing because I've been sleeping. I've been tired. Been busy. Even this week I've been busy. Like I said, this morning I had to help my mom. She needed some help picking up groceries and I had to run her around and, you know, bring them in and help her buy stuff. As everyone knows, my mom has been kind of sick, but she's doing okay. It's just that she's also starting to get old, so she needed a little help today. So you have to do your son duty, right? As they say. Everyone, thank you for stopping by. Next week, we might have about 3 shows next week, maybe 4. Haven't decided yet. Got to work out some details. But we'll be back, of course, with Nerd Takes. He was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here. But Nerd Takes and I will be on Thursday to talk about the Splinter Cell series on another episode of Legacy Loading. Tonight we were supposed to have on Mr. Transylvania Jack, but I forgot that it's my wife and I's wedding anniversary. 6 years. We have been married now for 6 years. So she's at work right now, but when she gets off of work, we're going to go out for a nice dinner tonight to celebrate our 6-year anniversary together. And that has been pushed to next Friday. So that will be Transylvania Jack and me will be on next Friday to talk about the Doom series. And so that's going to be the Friday show. And then we'll be back on Saturday night in particular. We're going to come back and we're going to do another one of these weekly wrap-ups with more gaming news, more gaming trailers, and of course, more gaming fun. And I don't know who's going to be a guest on that show. Maybe it might be a solo show. Maybe we'll be a guest. But if anyone's interested, next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central, if anyone likes to come on and be my co-host for that night, let me know. Or next afternoon, I think it might be JM. I got to talk to JM more. We got to say about it. So that's November 1st. But anyone, thank you very much. Thank you for the happy anniversary wishes and the good health and saying I'm a good son. I really appreciate that to everyone. Have yourself a good weekend, everyone. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the last week of October. Have a happy Halloween if I don't see any of you guys by then.